But today we are going to discuss about digital marketing, and particularly in life sciences, healthcare industries. And the thing is, what Ralph already yesterday touched this subject, is that the traditional way of looking at customers in the healthcare industry is that we tend to put them into some certain boxes, which are doctors, pharmacists, key accounts, insurances, patients, and so on and so on. And basically, the biggest issue is that we used to view the customers in healthcare industry as a source of prescriptions sold or consumed boxes of medicine. So it's like transactional view on the business, which persists still throughout the industry. But at the same time, how often do we really ask about their values, the way they see the world, the way they obtain information, and the way they shop? And here today, I would like to touch a bit subject of millennials. And usually, you know, when we look at, if we would Google, let's say, we would put who is millennial, and we would, let's say, look at some images, then we get these, you know, teenagers with mobile phones, you know, and then we are like, no, we are not those. But the fact is that when we are talking about millennials, we are talking about children of baby boomers. So meaning those are people between 20 and 40 years old right now. So meaning it's us, it's the biggest part of our customers. And why to talk about millennials? Because they have totally different value set from what we are used to. And the value set of millennials are, we are here to change the world. And also the bigger characteristics of millennials is that the use of digital tools is like enormous. And also interesting data is that actually last year, millennials have outnumbered the previous generations of baby boomers and Generation X, and currently is the largest part of population. So no matter in what business you are in B2B, are you selling to pharma, are you doing business development, are you talking to doctors? The fact is that there's big probabilities that they are your customers right now. And how to actually market, how to talk to them, what kind of values apply to them? The things that I would like to take as a takeaway. So one thing is that this is first generation which have been growing up as a digital native. So they have always had access to information. They are not so much me generation. They are more like we generation. We care, we share everything, we share information, we share contacts, and so on and so on. They are characterized by enormous use of digital media and social media. And the average attention span of those people is 8 to 5 seconds. So marketing efforts have to be short and sweet. What is also interesting is that 60% of them say that they care about social responsibility. And 35% of them are self-employed. In fact, they are entrepreneurs. And then you would say, yeah, but healthcare, you know, is different. And the fact is that it's not. It's already 10 years old data that 8 out of 10 people search health information online. They look for health-related consumer views. They look for experiences. They look for stories. They look for videos and images. And the thing is, what is most interesting thing, it's nothing new. We have known that since 10 years at least. This has been the trend. So, but the fact is that very little has happened in healthcare industry while we have known these trends. And then came the bomb called COVID-19, which kind of did what it did. It accelerated the trends. And what actually happened, and what is this impact of the new normal, is that, in fact, is that even in places, even in industries where where professionals tended to be, let's say, not so much digital, let's call it, then digitalization accelerated more than ever. People started to spend even more time online, more searches online, more shopping online. And the demand and engagement for health-related content actually exploded because we all want to know how to safeguard ourselves, how to exercise, how to eat healthy, how to improve mental health. And this could go on and go on. And not only about ourselves, it's actually also about keeping contacts, how to keep contacts when we are not able to meet in person. This period has also was characterized by rise of telemedicine and online medical consulting. And in fact, 40 to 60% of people are saying that even this all heavy period is over, they will continue to use acquired digital tools, because we have been learning that in fact it's beautiful that we don't need to sit hours and hours in airports and hotels just for a couple of business meetings. It actually can be done in a couple of minutes. We can connect to Germany or to US or UK or whichever country in the world. And again, about people, because even yesterday I talked with one of my pharma clients about the campaign which we are preparing for, let's say, cardiology, and their kind of point was that, look, but you know, these patients, they are older, they are 60 plus, so in fact it's they are not really online, and I was like saying, sorry, no, it's actually the data showing that also old people are nowadays online. So, and this is data from UK, which shows that in fact, during last years, while younger generations were already online, the older generations have been very actively joining in. So what happened in spring? So as I mentioned, the online shopping accelerated more than ever. The searches accelerated more than ever. Here's a couple of data from COVID e-commerce survey. So meaning while people were sitting at home in springtime, what happened is that pharmaceutical health sales online grew by 9 percentage points, exceeding over 50%. And the same also happened to cosmetics and personal care, not talking even about other categories which were already high in digitalization. So what is my point? And the fact is that nowadays, digitalization or being digital, having a great website, it's not anymore nice to have. Unfortunately, if we don't find somebody online, it most probably means that we don't believe that this company or brand exists. And even if this basics is not enough, then there are some more reasons for healthcare to be in internet. The fact, one of those is that unfortunately, internet is also in a way could be characterized as a big box filled with everything, with good things and not so good things, with fake news and good news. So it's our responsibility to direct patients to reputable sources of accurate information. There's also data which shows that online therapies will help 3 out of 4 people who have mental health problems but don't currently get access to help. It's also about providing support networks for serious chronic diseases. And there's more and more and more reasons to this. And what does it really mean for marketing? And this is, again, something that we talk since many years, but now it's kind of to be or not to be, is that customer experience and personalization drives marketing. It's about how we talk, how we create a dialogue with people. It doesn't matter, is it a patient, is it a doctor, is it my business partner? Ratings, reviews, feedbacks in social networks drive experience perceptions. We might not know anything about the company. We might have not met anybody from this company in person. But what we do, we quickly go on Google or we quickly go on Facebook and we see what kind of communications this brand, this company is giving. And based on that communication, we decide, this looks like reputable, or no, this looks so shady website. No, I don't want to talk to them even, you know. And you know what I mean, because you most probably have experienced yourself these kind of feelings about companies or brands. Services, nowadays, they need to be customizable, interactive, and actual. And remember, mentality digital first. Before we call our mother, or before we call somebody for references, we check Google. This is a new reality. We used to talk about integrated marketing, about having the same message in different channels. Then nowadays we talk about digital seamlessness. How is our paid search connected to our content marketing, or what we do on social engagement or mobile solutions or display advertising? So there's a whole new world, digital world, with a different, totally new channels for us to expand. And here is actually some of the examples how to go digital and how to capitalize on that, because everything is about real life experiences. And the examples are both smaller and bigger, just for you to show that basically it's not so that digitalization is just for big companies or that digitalization is only possible for small. It's basically for everybody. And this is one great example from our personal experience. This is our customer already since 4 or 5 years. And what happened is that it was a small dentistry which came to us some 4 or 5 years ago. And they had a problem. They had a problem that only 50% of capacity were employed. And surprise, surprise, there's a dentistry on every corner. So how to really get this patient to them? And what we looked, they were kind of thinking maybe to change a brand name or maybe to redesign the logo. But then when we looked at them and also at the market, we understood that what is happening? There's thousands of dentistries and each of them is offering happy smiles. So what we did, together with a client, we totally redefined the brand. And by looking where they are strong at, and actually this dentistry is owned by doctors who are doctors in 4 generations. And they are characterized by a very outgoing attitude towards their customers, which is really genuine. It's not something that we as agency came up with. So we kind of, together with customer, we redefined this as a brand as a first dentistry with a family feeling. And the customer was crazy enough that they totally redesigned how the dentistry looked like. So they threw out all the white couches and instead put flowers, coffee machines, children's corners, and so on. We, together with them, we designed new innovative services, like putting meditative music and this laughing gas and so on. We simplified pricing policy. And of course, all the communication was based on being digitally available to their patients. So what happened? After half a year of activities, 100% deployment of resources, and since we work with them for last 4 or 5 years, they have had 3 expansion projects. So they are not anymore small dentistry. They are one of the biggest brands known in our country locally. And this is also the way how they communicate with the clients. So instead of having these happy fake smiles, so in fact they a little bit show like different aspects to their clients. Like For example, appreciating that many clients are in fact scared from dentists, which is characterized by bunny. And also what is interesting is that in their all videos or marketing, it's actually the owner of the clinic is playing the main role. So she is a person who is directly talking to consumers. So it's about creating this feeling of not being scared from dentists, and also this welcoming and informal atmosphere of the clinic. This is also some examples of their Facebook communication. So the owner, who is also the key face of herself a dentist of this dentistry, she's actually creating ongoing webinars. Basically, every week there's some of the questions which are posted by patients. She's creating a small webinar, like live webinar, 10 minutes long, 5 minutes long, where she's answering about what interests the clients. For example, what do you need to consider when doing the implant, or how long you can actually do with some temporary these fillings or so on, and or how to care for kids' dental health. So that is the way how she talks like every week. And also what is interesting, you know what happened in springtime. So because everybody, the world was so much into COVID and everything was closed down, and of course advertising dropped huge time. Then they told, this is our time. You know, our competitors are withdrawing their budgets from media because they are scared. So they actually started to promote their SOS service. So meaning that if you have acute pain, you can get today appointment. And they invested advertising of that on internet media. And honestly, they were really very successful because they gained awareness and market share. So it's about being courageous and trying what others don't. Also, there's many good examples of using blogs and social networks to get closer to clients. For example, Diabetes, What to Know. It's international blog actually created by volunteers. I also know that it's kind of sponsored and supported, of course, by some pharma companies, but in a way it provides a meaningful resource for diabetes patients. Or what is doing TED-Ed? It's of course that they are not only talking about health, but they are talking also about health issues and in simple ways explaining actually complex subjects to people. This is example from our client, and this is what they do not only locally but globally. So globally, Teva has initiative of so to say supporting chronic patients not only with medicines but also with advices. So they have created this Life Effects website, which is sharing peer-to-peer experiences, how to live with MS, how to live with migraines, how to live with oncology. So kind of inspiration, place where people can get advices and inspiration, not only promotion of medicines. Similarly is about heart infarction. This is a website example from Estonia. And if I remember correctly, this is, of course, I think, tool by AstraZeneca. Then there's new tools speaking about personalization and about ease of use. So there was application developed to facilitate patient files and data sharing with other dentists in Switzerland, because at some point the dentists noticed that in fact there's so much, there's all kinds of systems, and they have a difficulty to see what actually has been done to this patient before. This is one actually startup created in Latvia, which has created a digital rehabilitologist for stroke patients at home. Imagine, it's not, I would not like to say replace the doctor, but fact is that in many countries we have problem of doctors not being accessible because there's many health problems and so little only medical help available. So they have been creating an app which is helping stroke patients from a day one to start to recover at home while he might be waiting for his visit to physiotherapist. There's also tools about raising disease awareness and making rapid diagnostics accessible. We Care, Be Aware. So melanoma screening app, you picture your birthmark and you check with the doctor in one day. Is it serious? Do you need to take more tests or no? This is another example about how to digitalize the marketing tools. Imagine these boring brochures, which almost always, let's be honest, goes to garbage. So, but what if you digitalize them and kids' vitamins suddenly become alive and start to teach kids how to exercise correctly? Then the value is totally different. And last but not least, there are big companies fully launching big brands online. And what they see actually, so Novartis was one of the first who launched RX drug online. And what they noticed that actually, first of all, they saw a huge awareness coming and 21% increase of patients asking drug by brand name. So if no matter where you work, are you in business development? Are you just developing your company? Are you in healthcare? Are you in big pharma? Getting digital nowadays is a question of to be or not to be. And simple things, where to start, how to start. The fact is that what I always also teach my clients is everything is about the basics. Once you get the basics right, then you can take smaller or bigger, slower or faster steps. So, and being about having the basics right is about having a good website, which is responsive also, and which works on all devices. Because mobile devices nowadays account for 52% of web traffic and 2 out of every 3 minutes spent online. So, and this is very often neglected. Once it's ready, make sure that it's Google friendly and has at least basic search engine optimization practices across the page. So this is, so to say, is a must-have to start. The second thing, what I would, so to say, from this mini complex where you have to start is having a fine-tuned content marketing strategy. What do you talk about yourself? And this is also what was talked yesterday about create a dialogue instead of monologue. So 70% of time you should talk about something what is interesting for your client, and only 30% of time you should advertise your products or services. And last but not least, the reality is that we all need to make our services available online. So start already to think right now how you do it online. And looking forward, is a digital strategy, and everything what you do, you shouldn't do it just because it's fancy or everybody does like that, but it has to be natural outcome from your marketing strategy. And in fact, this digital, it has to be a mindset, not just as a channel. So define, what do you want to get out of this? What you can invest and by what time? And be accessible and relevant. Also, being online means to involve whole organization in what you do. So it cannot be just so that one person in your organization is sitting online and the rest don't know what's happening. Turn social conversations into insights. Be different, innovative, and collaborate across industry. It's a good point about being online. Last but not least, but I also want to mention that online is measurable. It's more measurable than any channel what we have used before. So in a way, two things: be courageous, be digital, and a little bit mathematician, and you will achieve great results. So thank you very much. Here's my contacts. If you would like to contact me outside this session, I'm also available on LinkedIn, and I will join the networking area after this session. Thank you.